Just by means of introduction, my name's Ian Trow, Senior Director of Emerging Technology, an unusual candidate to be standing here this evening, but since we're talking about technology here, I'm quite right to be here. I've got the best job in the world. I report to the US, but live in the UK, and as far as I'm concerned, that's the best way to be. What I'd like to do today is talk to you about quality of experience. This is a much bandied term. Loads and loads of people talk about quality of experience. But what I'd like to do is add a bit more flesh to the bones on what that actually means by talking about three specific areas. One of the things that really goes hand in hand with quality of experience is video quality. But we're a much, much bigger company, Harmonic, than just talking about encoders, that we actually felt that it was best to base this particular press conference around the announcements that you've got in your pack, plus also broadening the area of expertise and perhaps adding more colour onto what quality of experience means. We'll be covering three areas specifically associated with quality of experience, and then broaden out to what our friend here wanted to know about, which was VR and UHD. First up, we'll be talking about ATSC. That's a really, really big issue for anyone who's actually attending NAB this year. Seminal time, not everything's tied down in terms of the standards, but there's enough being shown about ATSC and ATSC solutions. And I'd like to outline what Harmonic are actually doing in this particular area. Next up on the quality of experience voyage with Harmonic here at this press conference is OTT innovation. We've made available some of the tools and techniques and discussed them at previous press conferences, but I'd like to really talk to you about what OTT innovation means specifically for live, low latency type applications. And the last area in terms of quality of experience is in terms of cloud playout. Talk about how we've taken the functionality that we've been traditionally known for in products and appliances and wrap that up into a cloud-based environment. So does that sound interesting for the first stage of what we're talking about? I realise that probably I'm the first in terms of this little press tour that you've been on. Sound a good way to go?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's good. At least I'm on the right track there. So in terms of ATSC solutions, everyone's coming from a ATSC 1.0 perspective. Bespoke interfaces, MPEG-2. There's lots on the horizon for ATSC 3.0. It aims to bring a more IP-orientated approach to workflows. It aims to bring HEVC in. It aims to bring UHD and tackle the difficult area of high dynamic range. Before you consider all of the goodies that ATSC 3.0 has to offer, you've actually got to make space for that within the existing channel provision. So the first thing that we're talking about here is channel sharing, and that basically means minimizing the space that we allocate to ATSC 1.0. So we're not ignoring it, we're accepting the fact that ATSC 1.0 has got to coexist with 3.0. Now what we've done within Harmonic is we've developed a specific platform, the Electra X2S, and what that means is it takes all of the Electra coding expertise that we've got, takes our ProStream expertise and NMX and bundles that together in a package that actually deals not only with the ATSC solution requirements in the US, but worldwide. So once you've harvested all of that bit rate because of the bandwidth efficiency and the StatMux approach, you've then got room for all of the sexy stuff to be put in on your channel bouquet, namely all of the things that 3.0 will deliver. So that's a more IP-orientated way of working. It's introducing HEVC with the much required bandwidth efficiency improvements. It's bringing up the prospect of UHD with HDR. Next up, we're considering OTT innovation. Now, if you read any of the reports heading up towards this show for NAB, what a lot of people are really interested in doing is seeing OTT streaming performing to the same level that you currently get with your DTH services. And what's been occupying a lot of the specialist shows associated with streaming is this issue about live, low latency OTT streaming. And this is something we've really taken on board. You'll have probably heard about IQ, which is Harmonic's custom compression platform aimed specifically at streaming applications. And what we've been doing is taking all of the developments in packaging. It's also been taking the standardization effort through CMAF and actually bundling those together so that we can genuinely attack low latency applications in the same way that we attack DTH applications, and for which Harmonic is well known as a solution provider. What does that improved OTT latency actually mean? Because typically, this application area has been very, very difficult to address. Quality of experience in an OTT type environment means a lot more than it does just in a DTH environment. People are looking for optimized channel switching, people are looking for no buffer error type performance. They're also looking for, in an ABR environment, to be able to work at the maximum profile necessary. Specifically on this latency area, there are some latency aggregation points that have really been pain points in terms of reducing the latency. Now, you'll see that we're talking about segment size, we're talking about bandwidth, lots of figures and facts there breaking down the overall workflow distribution that's associated with OTT latency. If you were using current latency measures, you might be talking about an end-to-end latency of about 30 seconds, where a third of that is actually attributed to the CDN operator. And you see that with the improvements that we're talking about in terms of bandwidth optimization on IQ, lower chunk size, we're also talking about the benefits in terms of packaging and the adoption of the CMAF standard, that you can see that in every area on the improved latency measurements, we're able to crunch the figures down so that we're able to get a better than 50% improvement, and we're even able to improve performance in the difficult area of the CDN area, because we are actually dealing with shorter, smaller chunk sizes that are more manageable in those kind of network applications. So simply, quality of experience in an OTT type environment means not only the things that Harmonic are traditionally associated with, which is bandwidth efficiency and VQ, but we're also addressing the other aspects of it, which relates to video in a broadband type environment. One of the key areas, everyone's saying, what is this trigger for live low latency OTT? And basically, from a consumer perspective or a viewer perspective, they want to see hybrid services that seamlessly can drive from either a DTH platform or from a broadband platform. And when we talk about optimizing bandwidth with IQ, the first thing that differentiates that from our DTH solutions is that we're specifically using coding tools that relate to broadband or IP streaming type delivery. One of the other things that we've revealed and are using actively in this OTT market is the subject of analytics. For a long time, for all of our encoding and StatMux type solutions, we've actually used analytics. They've typically driven our StatMux solutions, they've driven the packager, and so forth. And what we've now done is extended the reach of those kind of analytics that we're using to actually address an area that was really a hot topic at CES in Vegas earlier this year, and that's namely player optimization. Because a lot of people are realizing that the whole fortunes of a lot of their OTT-based services do have a weak element in them, and what a lot of people were aiming to address at CES was this issue about player optimization. Now, if you're going to optimize it, you need some analytics to actually drive it from, and what we're talking about is taking the analytics that we've got and plugging them to further optimize not only the video quality, but also the suitableness of that particular stream for the broadband network that it's currently going to be delivered under. And I think that the sports application is a perfect example. We're already seeing that a lot of sports applications, niche applications, are viable from a business perspective being delivered in an OTT type environment. And that's one of the areas that we're really concentrating on with IQ and with our interpretation of quality of experience for an OTT environment. Another area that we're concentrating on and announcing, and that's in your press pack, and it's the third and final area relating to quality of experience, is cloud playout. We've already got VOS Cloud and VOS Cloud native application processing and VOS 360, which is the service-based representation of that. Now, a lot of people are hunting around looking at the areas that cloud-based processing has most advantage, and cloud playout really is one of those areas. A lot of people will be very, very familiar with the kind of playout architecture that we're showing here, but what we're trying to get across with cloud playout is all of the features that you know and love from Spectrum X, namely graphics branding, DVE, media API, player, and automation, all wrapped up. And what would be the wrong way to actually develop cloud playout would be just to take those features and take those applications verbatim and actually launch them as a cloud service. Because, I mean, that's just wrapping it up in a different guise. But what we're specifically talking about with cloud playout is taking those functionalities and launching them in a cloud-based environment that respects the underlying processes and the benefits for moving to a cloud-based environment. So it's a subtly different interpretation of quality of experience, but nonetheless an important one that most of our customers are really looking for in terms of graphics and branding, efficiency of production, and the continual drive that's been placed on people when they're looking to deploy, of whether they actually use a CapEx or OpEx type model. What we're trying to show here is that we've got a cloud playout solution that addresses people's current needs, whether they're even considering service-based production capability. So in summary, on quality of experience, we've outlined ATSC solutions, the need for channel sharing, the need to respect ATSC 1.0, and basically build extra space for the new ATSC 3.0 solutions. We've got a solution here in Harmonic with the Electra X2 VS that takes the Electra, the compression experience that we've got and learned in a DTH environment and delivered to many, many top-tier players. And we're actually applying that to the ATSC solution environment. We've got a lot of skill in terms of IP-based delivery. We experienced in UHD, and we're experienced in HDR, as you can see from the demonstration in the lobby. So Harmonic as a company is well set up for delivering ATSC solutions. In terms of OTT, I've outlined what we've actually talked about for IQ in terms of bandwidth efficiency, and we're looking further than just our domain of video encoding to look at packaging, to look at some of the standardization and the streaming optimization that's actually being done in that area. We're looking at analytics to basically help our colleagues and partners who are actually involved in player and player optimization. And we're actively working with our customers saying, hey, we can help, we can really deliver what you need for OTT innovation and in that kind of environment. And the last area, talking about quality of experience, is we've worked on VOS Cloud, we've worked on VOS 360, we've learned a heck of a lot about those platforms, and we're combining that with the kind of experience that we've gained through Spectrum, Media Grid, all of the other production areas. But what we're not doing is we are not just porting that onto the cloud without actually understanding the kind of benefits that customers are expecting by that kind of move and exploiting the benefits that the cloud offer. All of those three areas in terms of quality of experience have been outlined in the press pack, and we'll talk further and provide further clarification if you need it beyond this short and time-restricted press conference. So we talked about quality of experience, outlined those three areas. There are other experiences that probably Paolo was looking for, and namely there are two other areas I'd like to talk about that'll all be big news for this particular show. The first one is VR and VR 360. We started off this evening with the Blue Man Group. One of the other areas that we've been really, really successful with is customers adopting our premium encoding solution, the Electra VS, and we made a press announcement that PCCW had taken on using the Electra VS for the Rugby Sevens. I think VR is an area that people are hunting around for that good application. Rugby Sevens and sports type footage is perfect for it. That was the way a lot of people really used flagship content to actually launch services. As they've done with UHD, it's been sport, and for PCCW, no doubt the Rugby Sevens will be a very good application to show. We're also very privileged to be working with Blue Man Group. Again, whilst we're just showing you and giving you a taster for the kind of content that is possible, it's only really when you actually look at the headsets that you get a real kind of idea about, what a tile-based VR environment and ecosystem is actually delivering. We use it to basically showcase our encoding performance, but we're working with an awful lot of other vendors in the VR area, and what we've got on the show floor is a complete demonstration of a tile-based solution. What I'd like to do is show you another picture, another short video, and then we'll wrap up and go on to UHD. Now, a couple of things about this footage. It's only really to give you an idea about Blue Man Group, and anyone landing in Vegas, we've all seen the big screen with Blue Man Group up there. Two things. That was an HD interpretation of 8K content that we've got, and believe you me, the content that we're actually using to demonstrate the virtual reality experience is great. It encapsulates a lot of the partners we've been working with, and is a great demonstration of Harmonic working in conjunction with other VR partners like Digital Immersion, Via Access, Orca for the Player, and the Tiling Company. So one other point to mention is that not only have we got Blue Man Group helping us with VR content, we've also got 2 live appearances for the group, Monday at 5 p.m. and on 2 p.m. On Wednesday. So that's Monday at 5 p.m. and Wednesday at 2 p.m. So please feel free to stop by the booth. So we've ticked off one of the areas that Paolo talked about in terms of VR. We've got a complete ecosystem. We've got some really sexy content, and we're also getting good endorsement for it amongst some of our key customers. In terms of the other area that we're dealing with, I'll talk about UHD shortly, but now, could I go back to the slides? Thank you very much. The last area that we're talking about, some of you might well have seen the screens out in the lobby. One of the big bugbears for UHD services is actual availability of content. Whenever anyone's launching a UHD service, typically a lot of the service is going to be made up of HD content. Consequently, for companies like Harmonic, getting good, really engaging content is quite difficult. Content rights can be quite a challenge. And we're really, really proud of the work that we've done in this area in terms of commissioning and shooting our own UHD content, as you could see on the screen out there. What we did was we sent out a crew. In Harmonic, we're very, very lucky to have a production facility that can actually shoot that material, and they went out and shot some great bike messenger content in New York. The simple aim for that was not only just to shoot engaging content to use at a trade show, but was to actually provide us with a tool for evaluating HDR techniques. So what you'll see there is an active comparison between HDR10 and HLG, the BBC solution, two of which are HDR solutions that have been actively considered not only for ATSC, but for other application areas. So we're lucky to actually have that content. We'll have it on the booth so that you'll be able to do side-by-side comparisons. And this is something that we're going to continue doing, because specifically within my technology role, the really hot questions that people are trying to ask is, what do these different HDR schemes look like? What is metadata? How does this whole workflow come together? And a lot of the broadcasters are really trying to get a grasp on how could I actually achieve the ultimate in terms of sports type production with a complete UHD HDR workflow. Couldn't go into the details here, but we at Harmonic, we do have the solutions and products, and we're also engaging with the content so that we've got the full spectrum of UHD capability. So what I'd like to do now is actually introduce the man who's responsible for this whole video area to discuss. So please would you welcome Bart Spriester onto the stage.
Thanks, Ian. So what you've seen is that we're focusing our technology, our know-how, and our company on improving the video quality of the experience for our customers. And that's what you've seen from Ian today. So we have over 700 engineers working on this and trying to solve this as a problem. And many of them are focused on OTT. So Ian mentioned multiple new innovations and new products that we're coming out with to improve the OTT experience. And we have several more actually in the booth on the show floor, some of them even early proof of concepts. The other thing is we're very proud of our VOS cloud business and the momentum it has. So we have customers globally around the world, but also we have one of the largest pay TV operators in the world that is using our product, and one of the largest content creators and broadcasters in the world using our product. And they're doing that because we help solve and put real broadcast workflows and improve the quality of experience of cloud technologies in public and private infrastructure. And then last but not least, we are using our innovation, our knowledge, and our technology, and we're trying to go external. And we're spending lots of time improving our engagement to drive the industry really hard and not participate, but take leadership roles in AIMS, take leadership roles on the Ultra HD Forum, DVB and ATSC and others. So you're seeing all that come from Harmonic. So to summarize, what's Harmonic been up to this past year? We have been focused on improving video quality of experience for our customers, and of course eventually for consumers. So that's what we've been doing. So we very much thank you for coming today. We have some refreshments in the lobby, and we're happy to, myself and other Harmonic executives will be there, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have. And thanks again, and have a great NAB. Thank you.